Buckets rain down, we on the block. Strings hit hard, hip-hop clock. Jazz in the bounce, soul on lock. Post up strong, can't stop the show.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm super excited to get with you guys. Welcome back to Inside the Paint, brought to you by Sports Lounge Media. I'm your boy, your host, the chosen one, and I'm here to tell you that we're doing a deep dive into the NBA, associating and what's happening around the league this week. And the league's top teams are separating, and the stars are heating up, and the playoff picture is starting to get real. We got the Cleveland on a tear, Detroit pushing for an MVP narrative, and the Lakers are trying to unlock a new ceiling with Luka and Kevin Durant walking into Madison Square Garden like it's a movie set, really. Jumping into our first segment, we're going to do the top stories of the week. Let's start with the top story. The hottest team in basketball right now is your Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs just picked up their seventh straight win, and they are now 36-21, sitting firmly in the top three mix of the East. The big story now is that Donovan Mitchell and James Harden partnership is working early. In the latest win over the Charlotte, Mitchell dropped 32 points, while Harden added 18 points and 8 assists, and the Cleveland are now 5-0 since bringing Harden into the fold. This isn't just an empty number either. They're closing games and executing in half court, starting to look like a real postseason problem. Over in Detroit, the Pistons are sitting at 41-13, the best record in the East, and the league already pushing for Cade Cunningham to be MVP in that MVP conversation. The Pistons are being featured as the league's past spotlight team, which tells you how far the franchise has come from the tanking days, as we will all remember. Cade's combination of size, playmaking, and poise has him playing like the team that expects to be in the conference finals, not just happy to be here, right? We talked a little bit about how that team has transformed from the years past to here now. We are here now. Now out to the West with the Denver Nuggets just dropped 157 in the game this week, reminding everyone that their offense is humming and they are daunting on everyone. And the standings, and in the standings, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs are right at the top in the West, with OKC at 43-14 and San Antonio at 39-16. While Denver sits at 36-21. The league right now is in the mix of a familiar power and a new wave of contenders. Let's talk about the West race and the new look of the Lakers. Let's stay in the West for a second, because the playoffs is about to get nasty. Now, here's how the top of the conference looks like on February 21st. Thunder first at 43-14. Spurs are second with 39-16. The Nuggets are third and 36-21. Then you got the Rockets at 34-20, the Lakers at 34-21, and then the Timberwolves at 35-22, rounding out your upper pack. Right behind them is the Sun, Warriors, Clippers, and Blazers in that 7 to 10 game zone behind. Now, the team everyone is watching is the Los Angeles Lakers as they got healthy. This is the first time yesterday they played against the Clippers that they were actually every single one of them on the floor, every single one of them healthy. Seeing that they just picked up a big win over the Clippers, like I just mentioned, 125 over 122, in a game where they're nearly blew a 16-point lead, but held on late. Luka Doncic went off with the 38 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, and 3 steals, including 17 points in the first quarter and 4 for 5 from deep. Austin Reeves, your AR-15, added 29 and 6, and even quieter scored night for LeBron, gave them 13 points, but he had 11 assists. In the last 5 games, he's been more of a PG floor general. He's over a double digits in every single one of those games. This has been his 5th straight game in double digits when it comes to assists and getting that playmaking ability to get people open and be able to score the basketball. The Lakers opened that game with a 41 point first quarter on 16 and 19 shooting, 8 from 9 from 3. That's the kind of offense ceiling that makes you say, if they can bottle this for the playoffs, the West is wide open. Luka said after the game, we are still finding our potential. We go game by game, which tells you that they know that they haven't fully clicked yet. That's what's scary part. They haven't even fully clicked yet, right? And so that is the scary part about the Lakers. Meanwhile, the Clippers nearly stole it from behind with 31 points and 5 assists from Kawhi Leonard, 26 and 7 from Benedict, and before Kawhi left with an ankle injury, and Benedict ended up fouling out in the fourth. So you've got injuries, you got the margins, and a bunch of teams separate by just a couple of games in the loss column. The West is in a traffic jam. The West is always that type of division where everything it always is close from 1 to all the way 7 and going forward. So the East, they kind of separate themselves. You kind of know who's the big dogs and who can actually get to the finals, where it could be anybody, any of those teams that I mentioned earlier. We're going to talk about KD Rockets and the Mecca matchups. Let's move to tonight's header with Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets walking into Madison Square Garden to face the New York Knicks. The Rockets come in at 34 and 20, sitting in 4th in the West. They've won 3 of their last 4, including victories over the Thunder, the Clippers, and the Hornets. Durant hung 35 points on Charlotte on an absurd 70% from the field, imposing his will and reminding everybody that he's still one of the purest shooters that the game has ever seen. New York is no cupcake. The Knicks are 35 and 21, flirting with home court advantage in the East, and they are currently boost the league's 3rd-ranked offense and offensive rating at 118 and 8. Now, over their last 13 games, they've also had the #1 defense in the NBA with a defensive rating of 103 and 2. That combines with the top 3 offense and a decent defense that set up for a perfect clash of the style. KD shot making versus a defense that's been locking up teams for months, and that's what we have on now. On top of that, there's a little extra pressure, extra energy. Madison Square Garden, playing in Madison Square Garden for the Rockets. That team is trying to cement its true contender in the West. This game is measuring sticks and national TV type audition, and KD's it's personal for KD. You know he loves these stages, big markets, bright lights, and a chance to send a message heading into this next half of the stretch. Okay, if you're circling one game on Saturday's slate, it's going to be that Rockets versus Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Okay, guys. Moving on to the East. Moving back to the East, there's a couple of important storylines beyond a top seed. First, the Miami Heat are starting to build a little momentum. They just destroyed the Hawks 128 to 97, never trailing in a game that is getting 7 players in double figures. The big positive is Tyler Hero returned after 15 games with a rib injury and led the scorers with 24 points. That kind of offense will boost a huge for the Heat team that's been grinding through the regular season as usual. On the other side, Atlanta got another monster all-around performance from Jalen Johnson, 16 points, 16 rebounds, 11 assists in his 13 career triple-double. There's also his 11th triple-double in the season, which is second most in the league behind the Joker. So while the Hawks overall record has been up and down, Johnson is quietly putting together a breakout campaign. In Orlando's injuries and a big concern, Wagner is out with an ankle injury and Suggs is dealing with some back issues, but the Magics are 29 and 25 and right in the middle of the East, missing Wagner scoring and versatility plus Suggs health could make this next stretch just a little tricky. Elsewhere, Embiid is listed out with a knee injury for Philadelphia, and Devin Booker is out with a hip injury for the Suns. Both of those teams are jockeying for the playoff position, and any extended absence from those stars can change what it looks like in both conferences. Real quick to close out, let's close it out with some rapid fire hits around the league. Anthony Edwards continues to build his own star resume as he puts up a 40 piece, heading at least five threes for the 23rd time in his career, tying Luka Doncic for the most such games ever by a player under 25. Minnesota is 35 and 22 and firmly in the upper tier in the West mix. And Ants' combination of swag and production screams face of the league, as we mentioned on Wednesday's show. The Pistons again deserve to be mentioned here at 41 and 13. They're not just a cute rebuild story, but they're a legitimate number one seed with a franchise guy in Cade. When the league itself highlighting Cade's MVP case, you know that the numbers and the impact are lining up. And don't sleep on how balanced the middle of the conference are in the East. Teams like the Celtics, like the Cavs, like the Knicks, like the Raptors, which we don't talk about a lot, like the Sixers, the Magics, and the Heat. They're all clustered in the playoff mix, with Boston at 36 and 19 and Cleveland and New York both over 35 wins. Toronto and Philly are hanging close behind. And in the West, you've got 4 and 10 groups: Rockets, Lakers, Wolves, Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Blazers. We're all one good or bad week could swing the whole home court play to a play in. So we are headed into the final third of the season. Here are the vibes of the league. The Cavs and the Pistons are surging in the East. The West is a log jam with OKC and San Antonio and Denver at the top, but no clear runaway. The Lakers with Luka and the Rockets with KD are emerging stars like Ant and Jalen Johnson are shaping up the next wave of the NBA stories. That's going to do it for me this week, as you have watched Inside the Paint. If you're watching tonight, lock in on that Rockets versus Knicks game in Madison Square Garden. Keep your eye out on Cade, the Cavs, and those teams on the West seed, as the pressure over the next 7 days is going to be crazy. That's going to do it for me this week. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. This is Inside the Paint. You can catch us with all NBA stories and headlines in a broader sense on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on the Sports Lounge Media Show. Again, that's 6 p.m. PST on Wednesdays on Hum Day. Don't forget to watch us there as we talk all NBA. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys have a blessed night. And this is Inside the Paint, your boy signing out, the chosen one.
In the pain, we reign.